All right, good morning and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Isaac Walsh, and we're here at Out of the Mud Studios. If you want to check us out on Spiritual Warfare Unit, you can click on that, and we help veterans, people struggling with food, clothes, baby formula, mental health, and my friend Mo here is going to be talking about the things that he does in just a second. Say good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
All right. So now that he said good morning, we'll get to him in just a second. But if you can go ahead and like and subscribe to this so we can get his word out about how he helps people, we'd appreciate that. And we will check in with you in a little bit. Now, Mo, we've been trying to do this for a hot minute. I think this is the third time, right?
Yeah, this is the third time.
Every single time we get together, everything falls apart.
Yeah, I think it's 6 months, man.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So I'm expecting a pretty good show.
That's what you've been saying.
That's
Let's
what I
see
keep
what
saying.
I can deliver. I don't know.
All right, so you and I met at some function out in Oxford.
Correct.
And I remember it was sunny. I was speaking, and we met, and you got some nice swag, which I see you're wearing today.
Yeah.
Foxhole.
That's me.
And people can check that out on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaving that joke alone. So, so people can check you out on Facebook. Anywhere else?
Instagram, website, foxholeusa.org.
Any X, Twitter?
I'm sure we got that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look like a TikToker.
Yeah. Hardly.
All right. Wow. Pronouncing your H's early. I didn't know we were going there. Anyway, so we meet, hit it off, and just hit it off. Just a great human being, help some people. And
right back at you, bro.
Yeah. And so I wanted people to tell, so you give you a little bit of background, like of your history and where you came from, and then how you got into the Marines. But
I don't like the way you said that.
You wouldn't. So no, it just like give them the like overlay scope of the important points.
Yeah, sure. So I went in the Marine Corps, Parris Island. Ended up doing the 13th MEU. That's around when the USS Cole got bombed.
Why the Marines, by the way?
The Marines?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You didn't see the guy with the sword.
Oh, low IQ and
come on, man. You know that guy. The guy slayed a dragon. That got me.
I was just asking for a friend.
Yeah. And quite honestly, from what I heard, it was a soft full metal jacket. That was part of it. Then I heard how difficult it was, and not everybody can do it. Then I started seeing more people.
I got you.
Not want to go into it, so that made me want to do it.
You don't look like a cow to me.
See, of course, you would say that.
That makes sense to me.
So that's why I was like, nah, I got to do something a little bit different. If the Marines
were you 18?
Like yeah, I was 18.
All right, so you go in. What was the experience? Enjoy it?
Highly. Still keep in touch with all my people. We got a little group chat going.
Yeah.
Still bust each other up. Things
all right.
Like that.
So you go, and then what was next? Where'd you go?
Yemen. My time was spent in Yemen, responding to the USS Cole bombing, and then you know how that goes. You did your time, you get out, and then that's where and you
did 6, right?
6 years. Yeah, one was stop loss. Yeah.
All right. So you do 6 years. So that if you went at 18, that makes you what, 24?
Is that yeah, probably right.
Yeah. It figures. It's math.
Yeah, it's
You're
math.
a Marine.
Yeah,
that all makes sense to me.
Use all my fingers.
If you need to take your shoes off later so you can get those big numbers.
I did. I'll put them back on.
Yeah. Very good. Very good, Perry.
Yeah.
All right. So you're 24. You get out. You come home. What?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out how you got to where you're at. So 24, you do what?
Did what I thought that we were supposed to do. I took a couple jobs doing some things that I thought was not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like armed guard.
Yeah.
Guardian.
Yeah.
You protected money. Middle of the night.
Yeah.
For armored trucks. Things like that.
Anything crazy?
Yeah, always.
Are you for real?
Yeah, my time was in Highland Park, so it was interesting time. At 2 a.m, it's pretty interesting time. Yeah. So that, bouncing, stuff like that, security, all
hitting
that
your strong fortes.
Yeah. All those things, this is not that big.
How long did it take to get sick of that?
Too long. It took way too long to get sick of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took way too long to get sick of that. But then, did school, got to use the GI Bill. So I started doing that. So at least I had that going for me. I started school.
What'd you go into?
Just general studies stuff, knocked that out. And then shifted into like business management. You got to do some. You're supposed to be grown up by now. So
supposed to be.
Yeah. So I started doing that.
So is that what you got your degree in?
Yeah. I ended up getting my degree. And then along the way is where, in between those things where things started like revealing themselves.
And what things were that?
One turns out that, I don't know if you guys did this. I highly doubt you did. But like field day at the barracks.
Yeah.
If you recall those nights, I know my brother here off to the side knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Those kind of things. And you got to wake up at PT, you know, 0.
Yeah.
You know, 0 dark in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
You end up doing a perfect PFT despite your condition.
Mm.
That kind of thing. Turns out that's not normal behavior when you get out.
Mm.
But I thought it was something worth bragging about.
Did you?
Yeah. I thought I was like, hey, I can handle it on both ends. So whatever, you know, I can handle it. Let's do it.
Wow.
So yeah, as it turns out, it's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I had to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
But then, you know, things started, you know, kind of falling into place.
Yeah.
And then that's where kind of I was like, okay, if other people are doing this just like I did,
yeah,
let me see if I can, you know, help a couple other vets.
All right, so
find their way.
Let's back up because this is an important part.
Sure.
So you're processing this information that you're doing, and how are you dealing with it? Like, do you have good coping acting, negative coping?
No, absolutely not. No. I was like a Lance Corporal on payday, man. I was, you know what I mean? I was like E3 for those of you. I was like E3 on payday.
Yeah.
So that was like almost all the time.
Yeah.
So then my buddy, he owned a bar in Pontiac,
mm-hmm.
and my bus route used to pass by his back in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never forgot that he had a Marine Corps banner up. I never went in there because I was a young man. I didn't go in there.
Why would you?
But then when I came back, it was November 10th,
mm-hmm.
right? And I was like, oh man, it's lonely out here. Nobody's celebrating Marine Corps birthday. What is this?
Yeah.
What world is this with a Marine Corps birthday?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was like, you know who would have something going on? That guy would have something going on.
So you decided to go there.
And I went there. And then I met this Vietnam era Marine. And
so where's your headspace at this point?
Well, I was just, you know, missing my people. It was just, hey, I need my people back. Mm-hmm. You know, and I went in here and I found a bunch of them. Exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And he was the first to say, hey, why don't you start helping me out with something? I'm like, what do you need help with? He's like, how about Toys for Tots? Let's get some toys for these kids. I'm like, come on, man, I'm all about the kids. I can help kids all. I'll get you some toys, man. You want some toys? I got your toys. Let me go get them. So, you know, worked my tail off, you know, came back with like 2 bags full for Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I say he got his hooks into me.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start volunteering for one thing, you're volunteering for a whole bunch of stuff after that.
Yeah. Well, you know what Navy stands for, right?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Never again volunteer yourself. You think you'd learn the first time.
But wait a minute. This was for a good cause, though. This wasn't.
That's what they said about the military, too.
This isn't like PM in vehicles or going to do some crazy work party. Exactly.
It's
good timing.
Listen, it's 2-on-1 right now. That's fine. I'll take that. It's all good. It's still funnier than you give me credit for.
Awesome.
Yeah. And by awesome, he means not awesome. So that's King George behind there with his jokes. So anyways, what I'm trying to get to is I'm trying to identify the part where you were struggling with things.
Yeah.
And then you decided to put that thing into a positive. So I'm trying to get that story, like what got you there and then what got you out there.
Okay. So what got me there was more, substance abuse, but it was alcohol based. So it was that. And then, you know, in and out of trouble with that. It started affecting my family, started affecting everything.
How long was that process from like time of, you know?
Dude, it's honestly embarrassing. It was way too long. It was, I want to say probably 15 years.
15?
Yeah, probably 15
years. Well, I
worth
appreciate your dedication.
If one thing I am is determined.
Well, the thing is taking that same dedication from a negative and putting it into producing a positive, bro.
Yeah.
You know me. I always see the light side.
Yeah, it's unfortunate it took that, but it kind of worked out.
All right, so 15 years you're at. What's the oh my God moment?
Couple things. One, I ended up in front of a judge, and 2, I found out I was going to be a dad.
Oh,
so those 2 combined were like,
oh, that happened the same moment.
I was like, "Are you done?" I was like,
"Can you hear me now?"
Here?
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we realize we're done here, and it's not only just going to impact you and those around you, there's somebody else.
So I tell people all the time, I'm only aware of 2 ways to learn. One is through instruction and listening, and the other one is beatings. And either life beats you,
it will get you,
or someone else will, right?
Yeah.
And so life was beating you at this moment. So you say
undeniable at this time.
So being a dad, that's great. And you're in front of the judge. And yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary when you go.
Yeah. Both were kind of, but one was, that person had nothing to do with the way you're acting now.
Yeah.
So let's get it together.
Yeah.
We identified it. What are we going to do about it?
All right. What year was that?
I want to say 15, 16.
15, 16. All right.
Yeah.
So 15, 16, and you say, okay, so your plan is what?
We need to start listening to those people that are trying to tell us a better way of doing things. And I started to.
So who'd you go to first? Did you go to your buddy at the bar?
No, I didn't. By this point, he already had moved on. Yeah. But no, I started volunteering more. By this point, this was crazy. I was already volunteering. I was already helping.
Yeah.
But I was still very set in my ways. So I was still helping.
Yeah.
But I was doing it like on my type of terms. Like we're gonna help. Like I'm a still be me over here.
I'm doing this to feel good about me.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna help these people over here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, it actually doesn't kind of work like that.
It does. It's the complete bipolar opposite.
Yeah, you want both sides. You can't have both, man.
Well, and when you're doing it to feel good about you, that's the only reason you're doing it. So what's the point?
Right.
Yeah. So you can go, look what I did because I'm cool.
So then a couple of things started happening. Like people started seeing, hey, man, you're like doing really like a big difference around here. Like things are really cooking for you. Maybe we keep this version of you around. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I can't deny it. Yeah.
How was the depression like after you started doing that better?
Oh, it was terrible, man. Like whoever can understand, especially my Marines. Imagine meeting a Marine with no confidence.
I didn't even know those existed.
It is troubling. I mean, it didn't last long because once I figured out my plan,
like, no, I'll just fake it.
Yeah. No, there was no faking it. There was absolutely no faking it at that point.
Yeah,
it was
go,
more like,
no go.
No, it was like, we're done. You figured it out. Here we go. New way. Let's go. What are we waiting on?
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that. We had our moment here. Let's go.
All right. So you're doing that. So what got you to Foxhole? How much time? What was the time frame?
There was a couple things that happened there. I had found martial arts. I had
What year?
That must have been almost around the same time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like, okay, I can't deny it. I like the PT. There's something I really enjoy about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Same.
So I was like, okay, so weights was, resistance training type of thing, get your run in, cardio and everything. Yeah. That was still needed, but I thought there's something else. Yeah. So I walked in the gym, took up Muay Thai. Muay Thai was first. That was a big deal.
Like that one?
Yeah, that was the first of a series of humbling moments in martial arts. So really started doing that, started going there. And just to be clear, so people understand what happened, I went in on sparring night. Okay. I had no business being there, but you can tell me any different, So I walk in there, and to get to the point, I had no idea how to check a kick. You know what I mean? So as soon as my lead leg got blown out, all I did was, no, it wasn't it. I switched stances and went the other way with it. So
they blew both your legs out?
Blew that leg out. Oh, no. So needless to say, I learned how to check kicks.
Yeah.
But not before I had a hard time doing anything, sitting down for like a week.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I needed a lot of assistance to sit down and do anything. Especially like going to the restroom was extremely
best
difficult.
moment in Muay Thai?
Muay Thai, well, that was the perfect moment to be humbled, to be like, hey, so this person you think you are.
So my favorite thing about your personality that I like is that you're always looking for humbling moments. And you're like walking up to him like, I got it. And you're like, I don't got it. But you're willing to go, yeah, I didn't got it. That's a man move.
Yeah.
That's absolutely a man move.
What are you going to do?
But the fact that you're looking for it, you're always like, what's the next thing? Yeah. But before we get the rest of the story, I got to do a shout out. If you know anyone who's struggling with alcohol or depression or drugs, have them go to UCAN, Michigan.com. Click on struggling. We've got over 25 different groups to help people out. Drugs, alcohol, rehabilitation. Please check that out, including housing and faith-based groups and programs that you need, including my friend here that we're going to be at, Mo Foxhole. He's on the list, of course. And we're going to get to what he does in a little while because I don't want to shoot his thunder, but thank you for checking in. Please give us a like and subscribe so we can get the word out to help other people. All right, back to the show. So you were doing Muay Thai.
Yeah. Then
humbled.
Very, very humbled.
God, dude, and while I'm sitting here going through that, I'm thinking of the shin strikes, and there's that nerve, right? I mean, that must have
that's coming across your thigh.
Sweet.
Yeah, all of them. So how many of these do you
all
need?
Of them.
How many do you need to learn your lesson?
How many did you need?
I lost count, man. It was a lot of them.
I had to look up the definition of butt load. Do you know that's an actual thing?
Interesting.
It means exactly 126 gallons of wine. Now, I don't know why that information is necessary, but I feel like you had a buttload of shin strikes.
I did. Jeez. I did.
All right, so you do that. How long did you do that?
I did that a while, but a year into it, my really close friend of me, he's like family with me now. He's actually my instructor,
Mm-hmm.
The gym, Vic. Shout out to Victor Torres. He said, hey, you look like you need something else.
Yeah.
We need to get you something else. There's this thing going on. I think we can get you sponsored for jiu-jitsu. And I thought he was just being, you know, funny because I was with that group that was like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You just want to roll around with me.
Yeah.
That's all you want to do.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
He wants to wrestle a couple of guys.
Yeah, you just want to wrestle me. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go do it. So I put my gi on, show up. All right, so Muay Thai was bad. Jiu-jitsu is probably worse.
Way worse.
Way worse.
How long did it take to get humbled on this one?
I thought I won like the first match.
Yeah.
And then they tell me we still got like an hour left, bro.
An hour?
Yeah. So congratulations. You knocked out one round.
Yeah.
You still got to go through all these people here. And the last one was, of course, Vic.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the equivalent. So the people who was listening can understand it. It feels like you're drowning on dry land. That's what it felt like all the time. So then I left completely.
That sounds horrible, by the way.
It was very horrible.
Yeah.
So I left there, you know, kind of thinking, all right, man, I'm never going back. Or what you gonna do about it? So I was like, all right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write down everybody who just totally just like try to embarrass me. Like it was like,
you got a hit list.
There was a list. I'm not gonna call it a hit list, but it was a list.
Yeah.
It had names on it. So I got this list down, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go learn what you know.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna learn what
and
you know.
And I'm gonna beat you with what you know.
And then we're gonna see if seriously nothing I learned, all the things that I cared about, like all the traits you pick up from the military, we're gonna see if those things actually don't matter.
Right.
So I want to learn it, but here's what ended up happening. I kept coming back, kept getting, you know, these moments, you know, done to me.
Yeah.
But then they started picking up on how much I liked it. Right.
Yeah.
And at first I had a little bit of ill intention for my fellow teammates for what they did. But that's what they started doing. Let me know if this sounds familiar to you. They started asking me to train off time, so not on the schedule.
Yeah.
So they started volunteering their time, started focusing a lot on helping reach your goal, which was they were trying to gear me up for my first tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So they were giving up time with their families. They were training through injury. They were training, they were coaching, they were doing. I get to the first show. I ended up doing really well. And before you know it, they ended up befriending me through their commitment to my success.
So what happened to your list?
I threw it away. I didn't need it anymore. I threw it away. Because at that point, I was like...
I just love where your head's at. You're like, you, and you.
Yeah, especially you. Like, there's one in particular.
You're all going to die. I love it.
Especially you. You're getting it.
That's super great. So while all this is going on, like, where in the world did you, like, this depression and the things you're struggling with, was carrying through this stuff?
Yeah. That stuff started disappearing because all of a sudden now you're doing great over here, right?
Yeah.
And then it carries off the mats, out the gym into your personal life, and to the point where now even, you know, what's now my wife was like, hey,
who's a sweetheart, by the way?
She's like, hey, you're getting a little a certain way. I need you to go train again. I need you. You've been busy doing this other stuff. I noticed they ain't training like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Go knock that out.
So was it her identifying that you're like, yo, I think I can get, is that what happened?
No, she started, she was just like an indicator of, hey, things are great.
Yeah.
This needs to be part of who you are. Yeah. But then this other thing started occurring when I started realizing, along the way, a couple of things happened like concurrently.
Yeah.
One was I had four vets I knew personally, commit suicide. So
when was that? Do you remember what year?
Very soon, right after that. So probably the following year.
So like 2017.
Yeah, we're spanning like 4 years, I think.
And how did you process? I mean,
that was rough, and that was the final thing for me because it was like I found this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, look what it did for me. And then on this side, you got these 4 people that I highly respect. They're really super cool with them. Yeah. And then we're like, so you're just gonna sit around? And I mean, I can't be the only vet. I'm sure there's 4 of you in, 4 of us in here.
Yeah.
My person talk smack to me. So Mike Jones was like, dude, are you going to do anything about this?
Yeah.
Or you found this thing. Yeah. Are you going to do anything about it? Yeah. You've already done 5-6 year volunteer work, working nonprofits. Yeah. You found
Aren't you
going
to start helping people?
When are you going to get off your, what's up?
Yeah.
You're just going to let this happen. I was like, all right, man, I'm done. All right, fine. We'll start it.
That's all it took?
Yeah. It took 4 of them, and it took my own challenges leading up to it.
Yeah.
And then seeing how things work. And then in the gym that I'm currently in, back then, there was over like 20 vets in there, and we had no idea that all of us were.
No kidding.
Yeah, we had no idea all the vets. So
that's crazy. Now, where was that gym at?
Victoria's MMA in Troy.
Okay.
Yeah, my buddy had said, hey, on Sundays, have the gym 1 p.m. I know how you guys are when you get together. No strings attached. Just do your thing.
Right.
Everybody's welcome to come either observe, do a mobility drill, get involved, roll if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But once you meet, certain criteria, I can just let a complete stranger roll with somebody I don't know. But no strings attached. Just come check it out. It's whatever you want it to be. And that eventually led to the.
So was that going, okay, this is where we're going to help with depression and suicide?
Yeah, that's where things started turning around.
All right. And that was your idea?
The start of Foxhole? Yeah. Yeah, right around then is when everything I told you.
All right. And so you're like, this has worked for me, so I'm going to get this to work for other people.
Yeah.
All right. So this is where I want to start, because this is my favorite thing about you is you want to go in there and prove yourself to you. This is how I hear your story. And I'm going to go in there until I can't do it. And then when I get humbled and I'm do it better than you, and then I'm going to beat you. And then I can say to myself, I do it. And then in the middle of it, you were just looking to fit.
Yeah.
You're just looking to fit, but you already did fit. And then you're like, guys, we actually fit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so we already fit. So how do I help those guys that need that mission?
Nailed it.
Right. All right. And I love that about you, because, I'm the same way with my death experience. It's like, money, great, money, power, authority, position. Those are all super. But the only thing I take with me is people. So the rest of this, I don't. Whatever. You can be the guy.
Yeah,
I don't actually care. I'll sit in the back of the bus.
Sure.
But as long as we get to help people, I don't really care. And so you're doing this. So it starts off, and is it starting off with a bang? Like, is it?
No, very, very slow, because I know what it's like to, and that's on purpose. Very slow, because I know what it's like when yourself or somebody else, wants help. And you can't give it to them. So I know that's a huge step.
Yeah.
So it's purposely kept really slow. Like we started very local, just the Troy area, and then started, branching out. So then, of course, now we're in Milford, over at Crown MMA, champion over Chesterfield, New Baltimore area. I teach out of Wayne State University. Of course, we're in Troy. And of course, now here in about a week, a week and a half, Grand Blanc, Longhouse Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. So why Foxhole?
Foxhole. I liked that. Okay, so there's a bit of controversy there. The Marines have what's referred to as a fighting hole. I understand the other branch likes to use Foxhole. It honestly didn't have a whole lot to do with that stuff.
Yeah.
The other people there advising me, a little bit of marketing there, sure.
Yeah.
But it had to be something like that, because, you usually have two. Yeah. There's usually two in there. One of your buddies is in there with you. Yeah. So there's a little bit of symbolism there to be like, hey, you're not necessarily alone in this.
So you're not fighting alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like I tell people, I'm sure you probably agree with this. I'm like, it doesn't bother me that you're struggling. Let me stand next to you. Let me help you fight. I'm not doing it for you. Yeah. But let me help you.
Yeah, right. That's key too.
And then
glad you said that.
And then when you're off, take the credit.
Yeah.
And go help somebody else. Right.
That happens.
It's that all the time. And, our mindset is very much the same way when it comes to that. And I love being around you. I always get charged. We have a good time. We end up laughing and stupid. And I love your outfits and all the things. Oh, dude, I cannot wait.
Oh, my outfit. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Walker. And, but, so you have, so we're hopefully putting a concert together for you in October. We don't have a set, but you do have a show or a match. Are you doing that in December?
November. That's still in the fight. This would be the second year. Detroit Public Theater, November 8th. And that's where we had this bright idea that what if we use that fun, like before we even started this, right? In this room. Yeah. There was a bit of friendly rivalry, back and forth.
Allegedly.
Yeah. There was a little back and forth, some witty banter.
Oh, there's definitely some banter.
So what if we use that and start asking, okay, this Marine's going to face against this Army guy over here, against this Navy person over here. So basically all the branches. Yeah. I will say once again,
it was fun.
The only one that wasn't there was the Coast Guard. So if anybody's listening, call me up. We need a Coast Guard representative to be in these matches.
All right. Over our last couple of minutes, I want to key on this. If you got the opportunity right this moment and someone's hearing this and they're struggling with depression or suicide or frustrated, like what would you want them to know?
Well, first I'll let them know that they're not the first to go through with this. Other people have gone through and succeeded. So what I'm asking is get up off that couch or, wherever you're sitting at, go, check us out on foxwholeusa.org. Come on out. No strings attached. It is whatever you want it to be. And then you're going to find other people, and then you're going to start seeing, hey, wait a minute. They're right. This guy has like the same background that I have. Like we were probably in at the same time, probably in the same area, type thing. So you end up, you will find that camaraderie that was missing you. And then on top of that, you'll end up finding purpose again.
Yeah. Cause some of the people that you meet, that's such a good point, is they're going through it and everybody tries to hide it. Right. Like everybody, which is really ridiculous because it's like so many people struggle. This is actually it's more common to be depressed than it is, Like the first time we met, you're so overly positive. I'm like, well, I had to die to get there. So, take it with a grain, because you're just not used to it. So you're more used to the struggle and difficulty and the pain and, all those things. And it's just like watching you do your stuff. I love helping you out just because I like you as a human being. And he's a great person. What was the website again?
foxwholeusa.org.
foxwholeusa.org. And we do have a link on Spiritual Warfare Unit. If you want to click on that, you can hit struggling, and his information is up there. And we got all those things ready to go. He's one of a lot of the people that's going on. But since George has got his phone on, we're gonna get that out of the microphone. Freaking Marines. There's every single time you guys ruin. This is why
we're downtown. I can't control what the people do with their cars.
Listen, this is why we can't have nice things. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, Mo, we finally got this show in, bro. It was super.
Thank you,
this
man.
is in Out of the Mud Studios. King George, actually, amazing human being, love him to death. Another Marine, no offense. And just gets the work done, loves the people, puts it out there. So if you're a Marine, no offense. If you were in the forces and someone's looking out there and they want to go out there, like how many days a week? That new one in Grand Blanc, where's that going to be at?
That would be in the Grand Blanc Mall area. Look for it, Longhouse Jiu-Jitsu.
All right, Longhouse Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can go check that out, and that's open up in like a week.
It's been open, but we're going to announce our Foxwhole affiliation with them and announce our first veteran that we're covering in that area.
Okay, and if someone's a veteran and want to get involved, they still go to
foxwholeusa.org. Check it out. Email, call, whatever.
All right, and we'll get it up there. An amazing person. I hope you guys get to meet him. We'll be doing a bunch of stuff together. We have our concert July 11th if you want to come check that out. And we're doing an old car show, and we got 5 bands coming in, 2 national bands, all Christian heavy metal bands. Should be a good time. And hanging out there. Thank you so much for joining us in. I look forward to hanging out with you, and we will see you next time. Bye, George.